everybody. Welcome to the Heed Army podcast, the podcast that says, cheer up. Yeah, it was a bleak night for a number of reasons, but look, we've got a point, clean sheet. Let's try and stay positive, but have your say. That's what it's all about. We're not going to stifle anyone's opinion here. Say what you want. It wasn't a great game. We'll be talking about that in depth. We've got the FA Trophy game. Is it going to happen though? The snow forecast. We don't know what the pitch is like at the moment, whether it's melting, because it is melting rapidly around. The temperatures aren't that bad to make it freeze, but it's a lot of water to go in the pitch, and we've got continuous snow from tomorrow all the way through to I think till midnight tomorrow night. So if that happens, who knows? The game might not be on. But lots to talk about. You can send in your message as well, as everyone does. We'd like to do it like this. We've got a message already. We've got good evening from Charles Wath. So if you want to send in your message and say that, please do. Yeah, also, like and subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic. Right, we'll get Tuesday out the way. We'll put the highlights on in the background, or should we say the low nights?
Does this take 30 seconds?
No, it's a little bit longer. I mean, look, it was a drab affair. Both sides weren't great. And neither side got firing. There was never a real good flow in the game. I mean, I'll let you have your opinions. Davey, go on, take it away, because we were all there.
Davey, you could be a spin doctor putting positives on it. It was awful. I thought Mickey's head was going to pop at one stage. He was going epileptic beside me on the match. It was such a drab game. You know, I was watching the Spurs game last night, and they were complaining about Spurs not being up for it. We were just the same, weren't it? It was just two poor teams, not up for it. Very few chances. Did we create any real chances? Like any real, opportunities?
A few, but we never got the ball, never got it on target, really, did we? We didn't make the goalkeeper work. I mean, Philip Marshall, they weren't great, but they carved out a few chances to make Marshall pull off some good saves. I mean, look at this here, we just didn't get it. There we go. I don't know if you call that a shot on target, because he was right out the 6-yard area there. Yeah, but yeah, we just didn't.
Dianga as well, he was just by himself. He felt no support, did he? He's sort of that the service to Dianga, and he's playing by himself against 4 or 5.
There was one or two little link ups in the first half, but I think this is it here. Is it when the ball comes through to him from Ward? Is it Ollie and Ward?
By the way, Mickey can't speak.
That was few and far between this. We didn't.
That was it. This was a chance.
Yeah. See, that's probably that was the story of the night.
Have your role before I roll in.
Oh, well, Mick, yeah, absolutely. You're so disgusted you still can't speak about it. Honestly, it was abject.
I'll tell you the positives out of it.
Give us some positives.
Marshall's performance.
Yep.
Yeah. If on another night, if they could have finished it, we would have got beat 3-0 easy. Tinkler's performance, and then that's it. If you're going to have Dinanga as a central striker, give him something he can feed on. Didn't hit it round his neck, which they did most of the night.
Yeah, that's right. But I was disappointed by that, because that's not us. That's not us as a football team. We played good football. So launching it to Dianga, he was just no hope, was he? I mean, there was 5 defenders. They were playing 5 at the back.
We just ran out ideas. They sat back and said, break it down, and we couldn't.
No.
Just couldn't break them down. The crossing was absolutely woeful. The passing was woeful. And for the first time in my life,
That's a great save, by the way. That was a great save.
Yeah, it was a great save.
Carl Magnier coaching our back 4.
I know. It was the first game for a long time. I felt despondent, like coming away from it and just feeling a bit down and a bit like.
Me, I mean, I kind of think there probably has been 1 or 2 in the last 5 years, but I can't really think of anywhere you thought, we had a full strength side out of sorts and a strong bench, and it just wasn't happening for her. I just felt, he bought that one.
The referee was awful an hour, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Some strange decisions both ways.
Oh, he did. It was there. Oh, sorry, there's another shot, but he didn't get the power on it he wanted. But the thing is, I mean, it was just such one of them games where you hope it gives us a kick up the arse, because there was no hiding from that one. It wasn't great. Halifax, yes, they got them shots off, but they weren't impressive either.
No. They were a poor team.
They were a better side than us.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we can't say was it in the bottom four. We can't sit here and say we deserve to win that because we didn't.
No, I'm not saying that. No, not in the slightest.
I'm sorry. I love Mike Bitson. I didn't want him sacked and out like that. But Francis, Whelan, Ollie, Conter, and Ward in that midfield is not working. 2 games on the trot. We haven't even looked like scoring. Apart from the deflection we got the other day.
Well, look, I tell you what, here's something. So the last 5 games we've played, right? We've scored 4 goals in the last 5 games. 3 of those 4 goals have been own goals, our classic own goals, top goals. But we've only scored 1, and that was the Dianga goal against the tap-in against Oldham. So that's showing you some problems there. You know what I mean? It's saying that, as I say,
not creating enough.
Not creating. Aye, not creating.
It's
did Sam Johnson get stretched at all on Tuesday night?
No.
Just that save where he come out to make like the large block. But I would say it is going to be different though, because obviously Whelan and Francis are unavailable on Saturday.
Yep.
Is
Dianga's not available, is he? Oh, is he?
I wouldn't have thought.
No, I don't know. He isn't. No.
So it is going to be very different on Saturday. Forced changes. So, let's see. We just could do some positivity.
Look, I'm having to go at the lads. For this one game. To be fair, I missed out. Conter tried. They all tried. Not one of them hit.
Yep.
I'll give them that. They really did try, and it was just one of them games. There was just
a lack of quality, in our game. I mean, we got a message here from Colin Dilboys, but Halifax did everything they could to stop the flow of the game, stop any flow to the game, and it was that kind of stop-start game.
It was a bloody typical gated Halifax game. Ugh, rubbish.
It was, yeah. Stevie Thornton come to me at half time and says it's a typical gated Halifax game.
Halifax game, aye. Just not getting through. They knew what to do, as I said, pack the 5 out. Listen, there's a lot of despondency here, but as you said, Mickey, it's just this one game, isn't it?
There's still plenty games to go, but that performance had relegation written all over it, and I stand by the tweet I put up.
Aye,
they've got to improve, because if they play like that in the next 12 games, we are doomed.
Well, I think it's because we had built it up a bit as well. We'd obviously, the disappointment of the last minute winner against Chesterfield. So we were, we did see this as a big game for us, this against Halifax. And
it looked like a game to bounce back and get rid of that kind of despondent feeling. But we seemed to double down on it a little bit I think everyone felt low leaving the ground after this one.
Flat.
Yeah,
flat.
Definitely flat.
If the game's on Saturday, we really need a positive result just to boost morale again. Just get back in the good. Oh, bloody heck! Yeah. I thought it was going in, even though it was finishes 0-0.
I mean, Mr. Lukes, but hello, utterly disappointed and frustrated with that performance. But I always say, keep faith and belief. Marshall, Richardson, Tinkler were having a great game. At least we got our point. No. Yeah, we got the point back. I know people were critical of Marshall on Saturday for the obviously the handling of the ball, which led to the winner for Oldham. Chesterfield, sorry. And it's it's leveled itself out of sorts. We've got he's the one that gave us the point on Tuesday night.
You know what else as well? It's that time of year in the season now you start watching other results, and obviously on Tuesday night, let's be honest, most of the bottom results didn't go for us. Most of the bottom teams sort of won, and it's we were keeping an eye on that, seeing them results coming in. So it was also a bit of a knock as well, wasn't it? A bit of a dent of confidence. But hey, listen, it's only that one game. Let's move on and look for some positives.
Yeah, it was really disappointed to the point where I was pissed off for 2 days. Really pissed off.
Yeah. You were livid. You were livid at the end of the game. In fact, halfway through the game, you were livid, Mickey.
I know.
Well,
enough said.
Enough said. You'll get what banned.
You know, it was games like this. I thought where Davey earns his money because how the hell you commentated for 95 minutes on this game? I have no idea, and kept positive on air. You did extremely well because
I've said what's he call Tink Van Marshall, and that was it. I'm being unfair because I thought Pi had a really good game as well.
Yeah.
At times, sometimes the back four didn't know what the hell it was doing. At times now.
Well, we've got a few messages coming. Someone's found a possible bit of positive stuff. There's a striker on the could be on the prowl. Someone's put need goals. Lineker could be looking for a new job as soon. Offer him a contract at the end of the season. Be how looking to get Wayne Lineker. But at least have a
can't go the end of the season. Benidorm.
Need more effort from midfield. Conditions didn't help at all, and the result good. Got a point back from the deduction.
I cannot agree with effort because there was plenty of effort there.
Yeah,
it just wasn't quality. There was just no quality. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think that's just the final. Well, the final from the middle. It wasn't the third. The final half, wasn't it? It was. So we just didn't get really motoring.
We had put any decent crosses in our game.
Mason's put. I was just staying. I was just staying in my head and don't make mistakes near Dizawara. Just saying in my head, don't make the Dizawari. After the mistake of Shea when he scored, he looked dangerous when he come on, didn't he? He was getting into positions.
I love that little dive. He sprawled his arms out and fell on the floor. The cheating twat.
I know, but we just looked at footage of Denanga doing quite the same, really, to be honest.
I know.
I mean, when we got the free kick, I started laughing.
Yeah.
You were said to Dave, just like that. Halifax fans were going nuts.
I just still want to see Halifax again this season. Still want to see them again. You know. Oh God.
You're tempting fate there. You never know.
Never again. God.
What Halifax's finishing was awful, I have to say. Well, on another night, they could have had a hatful. Yeah. Definitely.
Marshall, I mean, you've got to take your hat off. I was quite surprised when they give the man the match. I think they had a bad game.
Yeah.
I was thinking of players who could, and I turned around to Trina and said, I think Marshall deserves man the match.
Well, he won us the point, didn't he? You know.
Yeah, he did.
Without a doubt.
Just before we go any further, we'll quickly play our message from our sponsors and we'll carry on with this debate. Keep your messages coming in. We're there on Tuesday night. How did you feel about it? Come on, everyone's having their honest opinion about it. Get it in. All right, it's a therapy session tonight. A therapy session. Just also as well, there isn't any disasters, but I do have one little story. It's not really that good, but still, 1 second. No disasters of like getting the car stuck in grass and having to have the neighbours push us or crashing a drone into the Tyne. Did get stuck in the snow the other day when it was here, when it come down thick for 40 minutes and then it disappeared afterwards, but I couldn't get the car up the street. So yeah, that's a mini disaster, but apologies to everyone because I know they like to tune in to feel my pain. Also as well, just a side note, is there any viewers or know of anyone that has a CPAP machine? Because I've been using one for about the last 5-6 weeks, and I want to know, does it make you fart? Because I am full of wind. Like, I don't know if I'm like taking in air through the night into my guts. It's just if anyone is on that spectrum of it, let us know because I am incredibly gassy. Like, I'm not
is this like night owls? Are we on night owls?
I get out of bed in the morning and it's just ridiculous. Like I'm frightened because I blew all last with the bed or any, when I'm standing up, it's just ridiculous. So if there's anyone in the CPAP, community, my brothers and sisters, but let us know. Are you very flatulent? Right, Mason.
I used to say the best thing for wind is a kite.
Mickey, I would snap the string on one at the minute. It's that bad. To be honest, well, I was inflating. So we've got one here. Gutted both days Chesterfield last minute winner, and then Tuesday night was just deflating, and Trina's laughing at my pain there. So it must just be me.
Trina.
Yeah. You ever seen when vets put like a spike into something, into a cow's belly, and they can light the gas?
Oh
fire
yeah,
to release
I have
it?
actually.
I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm gonna need. You're just gonna see a little flame. I'm gonna look like a little miniature. Like on one end of the stand, I'll look like T-side.
Are you on about lighting gas?
Yes, I see. I'm gonna. Yeah,
Trina, all I'm gonna say is Armageddon.
Oh God. Yeah. So
And if David Tron's listening or Heavy, they'll know exactly what will be.
You should elaborate. Anyway,
well,
it's a felching accident. A video that I got sent you ages ago.
We're not going to talk about anybody, right? So to kids, Google
the
it.
hamster that set fire to the gases.
Right, so they're Trina.
David Story's lifted the mood. Look at us, we're laughing now.
Yes, we are. I had to read this one twice because I didn't know if he was like Gates's version of Hugh Hefner here. But Charles Waff put, I was more excited about activating my little hotties to put in my gloves and keep my hands warmer. When I read that, and I thought he activated his little hotties to keep his hands warm. I was like, what's going on here?
Well, Dave, you had some little hotties, didn't you?
I didn't get to use them.
Oh, what? Why not?
So I've got them for the next game. I've got little hotties for my feet, so try them again. No, because Halifax turned up and I couldn't use the other plug because if I put it in the extension, it could blow the fuse. So I had to sit. Poor Mark Crovis, he was shivering. I think you even hear it in the commentary. I go, "You're cold, Mark." on the highlights, he's like, "You'll never learn. He just wants a cuddle off me. That's all it is." 1 second, but away from the game, a massive chance to get momentum of a win against Farsley. Who are in a similar situation to us, got momentum against Gloucester, so can't see why we can't do it. Yeah, look, we'll get onto that game very shortly, but everyone keep the messages coming in. Also, as well, get well soon to Liv. She was unable to be at the game. She's in hospital. I think she's out now and doing well. She sent us a message there. And
Liv.
Get well.
Yeah, and Darren, he's out back in the middle of the Irish Sea. There we go. And
it can't have been that bad.
Oh, not Armageddon.
Get in, Davy Trot.
That's some in jokes, isn't it?
It is.
I will send. Honest, I'll send you when we come off here. I'll send you the link. You can watch it. It's funny as hell.
Bringing new players and it takes time before it starts to click. Yeah, I mean, look, come in and then
I appreciate that.
The other there's another in joke there with hamsters. Yeah, don't underestimate Farsley. They could upset us. They're very good. This is no
one's underestimating them.
Don't look at league positions on this. This is a knockout competition. They've got far because they deserve to get this far on their performances in this competition. Look, we see it all the time in the FA Cup. This is not a given. Not a given at all.
They might have.
Don't forget your Peter heater for Saturday, David. I'm gonna have to get my wife to knit one. I think Davey was after one actually in our group chat, wasn't he?
I was.
We were trying to get him one, but we couldn't get next day delivery.
One for the group chat. There we go.
I think so.
Yeah. So it's we've still got to bring up that line of Peter heaters. Boiler Sport TV's also already ahead. He's going 2-1 for Saturday. We haven't even got that far into the show.
We haven't. Hang on. Charlie War, by the way, he followed us on Twitter midweek. I thought, has he any idea what he's letting himself in for? Charlie, I hope you like puffins. That's all I'm going to say. Because that's all you're getting.
I'll tell you what it is, though. If you need someone to take some photographs of your puffins, Charlie Waff.
That's a good point, actually. I'm following him back, so I might drop him a message. Good point.
Liv has put, good to see the club on both ITV and Look North. Yeah, nice to see them getting into us.
Flying the flag.
Yeah, so I've got a little picture of that I'll show you. I look gorgeous. 1 second. I mean, do you know what it is, right? obviously I'm wearing the Heat Army podcast hat.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, gorgeous. Look at it.
Sex
Just-
on legs.
You're right, there is some in Western Bromwich Building Society. I have been out of this.
Yes, so I'll get that in the rat from Harry Potter. Shut up. Right now, my wife goes, like, she was like, "Oh, get in," and like she's texting her friends, like, you know, I was like, "Oh, that's what they say about being." She goes, "Oh, I didn't say that." She goes, "Me hat." I said, "Me hat made it on the telly." I think your bloody husband's in it, and all though, you know. More excited about the hat being on the telly. Yeah, bugger. So we've got Lil Nolans, but Howard. I maybe Hawaii. Maybe hello, Howard. Whoever it is. The message. Christopher Story poses a good question. If the game is postponed on Saturday, would the game be played next Tuesday? I would imagine so, because of the backlog of fixtures, and I want to get that out of the way. So yeah, and Emily Focus has put, "I love puffins." Well, follow TV on Twitter, and you will be in puffin heaven. Honest, it's
Puffins galore.
it is.
Little buggers.
So
Anyway.
yeah, and you know, and so we got a message here from Darren Walden. More Nanook of the North.
Look like Nanook of the North.
The Nuke of the North.
Horrible people.
One for the teenagers, Darren.
It is, yeah, definitely is.
Were your kids excited to see you on TV? With all standing around the TV going, "It's Daddy!"
No, they were too busy playing. They were just too busy tickling each other. I was like, "Look, Dad's on the telly," and they were like, "Yeah,
whatever."
Because I watch the podcast back and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, there he is. Yeah, there he is." Fat boy on the telly that looks like him off Harry Potter.
Look, Mummy, the hat's on TV, Mummy. The hat's on TV.
Yeah. That's more like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, look.
You may as well have just had a sign at Elaine's knitting.
I know.
It's at $150 each.
That was I rang her up. I've been on the telly. I've got your hat on. Get in. I was like, "No, get in." I just about the hat. So yeah, it is. She married me for the I think for
the publicity.
And then found the love of wool after she married us. So,
oh goodness.
There's a knitting shop in Washington Galleries. I took her in there. Honest, I've never seen anyone float. It's like, you know, when you see like an apparition just go along. So,
she got her own wool podcast.
It'll happen. I'll be kicked off this. Yeah. So, right, we've got they weren't easy games last season against Farsley. We had to come back from 3-1 to beat them. Their place, if memory serves me right. Yes, it's going to be a tough game. I've got a former player there as well, Tom Allen, the big defender. He's scoring goals as well. So, you know, it's all set up, isn't it? But hopefully we can do all right. The Flags look brilliant on Saturday and Tuesday. They did. Big shout out to the Flags. It's looking really good. And as I say, it was shown on ITV. Simon O'Rourke recorded it and put it on. And we've got Farsley have a home game against Leamington on Tuesday. Yeah, but that would be changed. That would be changed if that's the case. Big fan of puffins, says Cow Daily. Everyone
loves puffins,
especially in tacos. Right. Can you legally eat puffins, Davey?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you?
They eat them in Iceland and Norway. Yeah. Get them on the menu.
What about in the UK?
No, they don't. You can eat gannets, and you can buy gannet on the menu in some places in Scotland.
I laugh how he tried to say yes, but it was really a no. He went, "Oh yeah, Iceland, yeah, wink, wink."
I've thought, you know, if
you've been flogging them to Iceland, have you?
But the thing is, like, if they were tasty, like if you tasted one that were really nice, could you imagine? I mean, I'd get fatter and the population would start declining. Now, I'd have to explain that, wouldn't I? You know,
when you're on Springwatch, he's on Springwatch going, I haven't got a clue, and he's got a beak just snapped off in his mouth. Having a clue what's going on here.
Hearing out of a puffin beak.
The Heat Army puffin keyring beaks. That's going to be great.
Bottles up.
Why are the kids not excited? They used to see you in Crime Stoppers or something. No, that's because they see what I get up to, getting stuck in the grass. They don't want to be associated with us in public. That's what it is. Look, do you think the game will go ahead? What's the weather like up there? I'm in York. It's melting, but there's a lot to come still. If the weather forecast is right, it hasn't been as thick as I thought it was going to be. So the roads are clear. It's just whether if it's lying on that pitch in the wind. Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of in between. Has been sun and it does melt. It is warmer. It's getting up to like 4 or 5 degrees. So it's whether or not the pitch can handle the water, isn't it? And it's normally good with drainage. So fingers crossed. I mean, I know I put on the thumbnail Gateshead closed, but it was with a question mark, that old picture. So it's a bit of a laugh. But in all seriousness, no. Hopefully the game is on.
I think if you get the snow till midnight tomorrow and it starts to melt, it depends on the temperatures overnight. If you get into -4s and 5s, that could be frozen by the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry, the gas is coming out the other way.
Go on, Lily.
You're just going to see us explode one podcast like Mr. Creosote. So we've got here.
The vision.
I followed Davey for years already, including the World Cup of Seabirds.
Go to Emily. Quality. I have to find you and follow you back, Emily.
Yeah,
good stuff.
We've got Davey Stalkers catching up on
Davey Stalkers.
I'm only joking. Barry Lee has put, do you have snow up there, guys? A little bit, a smattering.
It's but it just melts.
Yeah, it just melts.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to quickly play. We've got lots of messages coming in. Keep them coming in, and we will play out our social medias. Do this, and we'll be back with you in a second. Well, on that note, my wife overheard us talking about hats, and she's come through with a message and said it's perfect weather for hats with a wink. So if anyone wants an Elaine hat, Ellabella Knits, look on Facebook, you'll see.
Got some nice hats.
Oh yeah, they're good, nice. Davey, you've got two.
What's the quality? Honestly, I was really pleased with them. Yeah, I got them warm, just nice hat, nicely made. Smell lovely, Mickey. I don't know where you had them stored.
Smell lovely.
Oh, honestly, yeah.
I washed them.
Also now, sorry,
bag that long.
Yeah, you washed them. Beautiful.
But the thing is, we can now also use on our advertising, as seen on TV, on him.
Look on him.
on that. On that bloke. That
look like combo.
Yeah, so she's laughing her head off now. Horrible woman. Loads of messages coming in. There's one second. Only thing I would say about the flags is that they need to move down to the middle because you cannot see them because they're up in the roof. But all very good. Yeah, hopefully more people get involved and have more flags down the stand.
Are they trying to do it so there's no one behind them?
Possibly, yeah. It could be a health and safety thing.
That's the code line anyway, as well, and it's always been there.
Yes. So yeah, we've got there's no snow in Macclesfield. We've got someone that is dying for us to talk about something, address the issues or ignore us. The Heed On Me podcast or a PC Club filtered podcast. To be honest, not really. We can't talk about an ongoing police investigation, John. So we won't go any further with that. And just see what happens. John Scott has put looked like an interview was about a new soup kitchen. I didn't even get any soup. That's the worst thing. Davey can't drive his car on grass. What's the chance he's got on snow? Shut up. In our it is, right? I'm just here for your entertainment. How are we doing with injuries and suspensions? It looks like we've only got the trying to think who's out at the minute. Harris, Knight, and Forbes, isn't it? At the minute.
What happened to
Knights.
Panny? What happened to Panny on he was on the
Oh
bench?
yeah, he was injured in the warm up because Mike
Aye.
was replaced on there. So Panny might be carrying a knock. Hopefully not. And Castro will yet to see him come back. I think is it West Brom is looking after his injury, aren't they? Like what Luke Armstrong happened to.
Yeah.
The bigger club
Alright.
wants to look after that themselves. Of course, it's their player, their investment. You can
Right.
understand why. It's frustrating that we aren't hearing anything, but we'll just have to do that.
Forbes is not far away.
Yeah.
I spoke to Elliot after the Chesterfield game, and he's not far away.
Yeah.
Knights, I think that could be Knights done.
Mr. Lucas put, if we do win against Farsi, the semi-final draw is on TalkSport 2 at 3 p.m. Might be 3:15 since chats about the Premier League and fixtures. It's not 3:25, isn't it? It really drags on. And
4:25.
Yeah, you tune in and it's like you think they're going to be talking about the competition, and it's not. And then it's like, on a side note, we're just going to do the FA Trophy draw, right? And back onto what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Does anyone know how long it is till Castro's back? Not, unfortunately.
Well,
I'll tell you what. We'll go on to this now before we, go on about Saturday anymore. And keep sending all them messages. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Liv is going to ask us got a question here. How did the women's friendly go?
No, I
got beat 2-1. Well, 1-0 up in a goal to ones each, and I wasn't there.
quite a good result, that isn't it? Because the team they were playing a division higher, weren't they?
They were a division higher. They were 4th in the league.
Yeah.
And the last time we played Sunderland West Ham, we got beaten 9-1.
Whoa. Yeah.
So that just shows the level of how much these lasses have come forward. They've got a game on Sunday. I think it's home against Hartlepool Youth, 2:00 at home. I could be wrong there because when you look at the fixtures on the leagues, it's sometimes I'm sure we've already played them, so I'm not really sure. Well, I think it's Hartlepool Youth at home on Saturday, but it could be on Sunday. So.
It's one of the
on the borders over there, Mickey.
Yeah, but by all accounts, I was talking to Hugo and Rusty, and they played really well. And Sunderland West End stepped it up. Well, it was a really good run out for the lasses. And
excellent. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Getting a good run out, keep match fit and all that.
Yeah, because it would have been a shame for them to miss 2 weeks again, because it's just been stop, start all season. I felt sorry for the lasses because they want to play.
Yeah.
And it turned up sometimes that other teams haven't got enough players and got to cancel the game. So
got another message in. That hat looks familiar. Did Davey used to be in the Flumps? I would take it on the chin if I had one. All right, from Newcastle. Okay, Lily. What's wrong with Harris? I'm not exactly sure. There hasn't been much.
It's an illness, apparently.
Illness.
Oh, bloody hell.
Let's hope it isn't COVID and he's
COVID,
back. Let's hope he's in contention.
There's a lot of that pretty flu-like virus going around, isn't it? It's like people coughing and barking. There's loads of people got it.
It's time of year, isn't it? It's time of year.
Yeah.
With the kids. And I see Matty Jacob got a new contract down at Hull this week as well.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Well done to him. And also as well, congratulations to Kenton Richardson, England C call up as well, which is really good. He's been putting in some good shifts this season in a number of different positions. He's never lets us down. So hopefully, it gives him a pep in his step and continues his progression, because he's looked at the star signing this year from being one of the ones where you're thinking, don't really know much about him when he's come in, but he's the player we've been talking about a lot.
For me, he could be in the running for a player of the year.
Definitely.
He's been solid all season. I think he has anyway.
That's why he's been selected, isn't it? Yeah. He's
been absolutely solid, to be fair. I liked him last year when he was at Spennymoor. I'm sure it was Blackett that had kicked him. And he just got up and he looked up, and the next time he got the chance, he absolutely nailed Blackett back. And I thought, he's got something good with him.
So I said to Kenton on Tuesday, he'll be playing for Southgate in a few years. You never know. As long as we get the sell on, that's what we want. That's good. So we've got keep them messages coming in. Right, as I say, obviously the game on I'm saying Tuesday, on Saturday, if it does go ahead, massive game. We're gonna have to be at our best, as we'll have to really for all the games remaining this season. But you know, a hell of a chance to get to the semi-finals of a national competition, and of course, dare I say, the W word is only 120 minutes away from where we are at the minute. No, that's not 120, is it? It's 180.
Weatherby.
Yeah, but it is Weatherby. It is. Yeah, we'll all go to Weatherby on the 21st. But no, it is a big thing. We know that. Don't want to get too carried away, because obviously it is going to be tough against Farsley.
Yeah.
Very similar position to us in their league. They're picking up points here and there, and the defence seems to be a bit more solid than what it was earlier in the season. A few clean sheets since we've been drawn in the competition against them. So, you know, yes, it's going to be hard, but at least we're at home for it. That's the main thing.
That's a key, isn't it? And it's that cliche of just don't underestimate them. You know, I know the division below and the below mid-table, but yeah, we just give them that respect. But do a professional job, beat them. You know, we're the nation. You know, we're full time. You know, we're a good team, good footballing team. We've got the ability to beat them. So, yeah, massive game. You know, over the years we've seen us make blunders at this stage. You know, Mickey's Winston, he can remember one or two over the years. Well, we built it up, but hey, we've got a great opportunity, haven't we? You know, we're playing Farsley at home. It was the draw we wanted, wasn't it? Come on, lads. That last 8, when that draw was being made, we all chuckled and said, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice to hope to Farsley?" Well, we bloody well got it. So, you know, let's put it to bed on Saturday.
There's a Farsley fan that asked about us on Twitter the other day, and I says, on our day, we're a match for any National League club in the division. But when it's not our day, we're more than capable of beating ourselves.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, and Darren Walden's putting, we are struggling for goals at the minute. Much of the recent ones have been own goals. Yeah, I mean, look, we've just got to go into it and play our game. We can't, you know, look too much in the recent games. You know, you don't want to dwell on it. You've got to move forward. That's the
Well,
way.
If they had anyone watching on Tuesday night, you know, you can almost tell your tactics. They're going to come up. They're going to come up and play 5 at the back, aren't they? They're going to defend heavily and try and break us, you know, on the counter attack. So, you know, they're not going to come and try and play football against us. Sorry, Davey.
It's going to be an interesting game, an interesting battle. We'll have to see. Obviously, the club will have done their due diligence. They always do. And they'll be looking back at them games as well, looking where they can improve. The players will be reminded. And Barry's put, hello, everybody. He's put, do you think, I hope, like I do, we can stay up? Yes, I certainly do.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
If you look at, if results go away on Saturday, because obviously Chesterfield are at home to Yeovil, Dorking play Wrexham in the late kickoff. So, you know, if those results, if they both get beat, that gives us a couple of games in hand on them to catch them and get out of the relegation zone. If we are in our game, we can do that. So it's there for us to get out.
And we've got 12 games left, and we've got 7 of those at home, and a lot of those against teams, you know, let's be honest, struggling or mid-table. Yeah, that's right, and that's you know, massive, but yeah, winnable games. Yeah,
and nice change of scenery. It seems that the green screen is working perfectly, Davey. he is still in the lighthouse now. He's not telling anybody.
I'm back on the mainland now, Mr. Luke.
Talking the late kickoff. Did I say the different one was a late kickoff? But yeah, that's the late kickoff. So you can get your predictions in for Saturday. We'll read them out and stuff. And
Dalton beat Mans Notts County as well.
I think they did. Did they get a draw? Or did they get a draw there?
I think they beat them.
Well, Notts County have lost 2 games this season, so it'd be easy to find out, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Sherwood was one of the ones that beat them. I might be wrong.
We should have.
Well, there's a few Bulgarians we've had this season, and it would have, could have, and should have. So
I'm sure. Yeah.
We've got is Farsley Celtic full time. I don't believe they are.
Don't think so.
Mr. Luke has went 3-1. Liv Walden's put 3-1, staying positive. My prediction is, or hope, is just to get through Hooker by crook. It would be very, very nice. Get some winning football back into the side and take it into the league. That's my hope.
Lads, you're spot on actually. So it was Dorking 1, Notts County 1 going into the 92nd minute, and Dorking scored twice to win 3-1.
Wow,
remember that? Yeah. So 93 and 95 were the goals.
Barry Lee, I think it's 2-1. Just as far as a good team, yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, lads, I'll put you on the spot. What are you, Davey?
I'm going 2-0 to the Heat.
2-0.
Before, yes, but I can't go the same as him, so I'll go 3-0.
Yeah. Boiler Sports asking, is it over 2 legs? It's 1 leg now, I believe. The semi-finals. So we got 2-1 from Darren. So there we go. Greetings from West Peterborough. He's going 4-0 to the Heat with a mix of goal scorers. And Luke is our. In fact, if Luke wants to come on, he's a Halifax fan. He can come on if he messages me on Twitter. We can get him on if he wants to join us. He's put how the lads game Tuesday, wasn't it? It was. It really was.
That's the polite.
I've got to say, Luke, your finishing was shocking, but I'm glad it was.
At least they created the chances to be shocking, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, beggars can't be choosers, can they? I'll just give Luke a. So if you can, I can if you want. Yeah, I'm going to send him the link now on
David Tron there 4-1. So yeah, lots of positivity with the result on Saturday from the fans anyway.
David, just hope one of his big bets come up.
We've got 2-0 from Carl, and 1 second. Who was the top goal scorer? May I ask? It's Adam Campbell, isn't it? With 7.
It's Campbell ahead of Elliot. Yeah, Elliot scored 6, didn't he? Yeah.
It's Campbell. Yeah, he's just finished his pod, so he's going to come on. We've got 1-0 first goal scorer. Any of the Farsley defenders?
Own goal being our chief goal scorer.
That Welsh lad is back again. Own goal.
Yeah, well,
God, the goal of the month will be rubbish.
Can you remember a couple of seasons ago when every game was like an own goal?
Yeah,
was that when we first came down, wasn't it?
I think so.
Own goal. Was it 13 own goals we had or something?
Something like that. It was a lot.
Yeah, we're doing it again now. 3 of the last 4 have been own goals.
Yeah.
I suppose you make your own look.
Sent that to Luke, so we'll have Luke at the Halifax town join us, Halifax fan join us very, very soon.
Yeah, Adam Campbell, top scorer, 7.
Yeah. It's Adam Campbell. So but remember, keep predictions coming in. Also, as well, thank you to everyone that has liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you can keep it going, we're on a good call. We're over 406 now, which is great. We just want to keep it going and try and see if this algorithm really works, and see because the more you have, the more people see. So that's our thing there. Reckon we should sign own goal. Cracking player, definitely knows how to put the ball in the a goal is a goal. Yeah, a goal is a goal. We need them.
Right, boy. Right.
You've got to remember the balls that have went in for them own goals have been, the deliveries in there, of course, defenders' problems to put them in the back of the net. So that's what you've got to get. Lily has put, all right, lads, come on the Heat and Newcastle for Saturday and Sunday. Not that bothered about Newcastle, but you know. We've got Luke has joined us. Hello, Luke. How are you doing?
Welcome. Cheers for allowing me on at such short notice.
No,
from one podcast to another.
Yeah.
Get that smug grin off your face before I take it off, sunshine.
Were you there on Tuesday, or were you watching or listening?
No, I went on Tuesday. It wasn't pretty, was it? I tried to persuade my dad all day to take me. He'd taken me to Dorking. Then we go there. One of the worst matches of football I've probably ever seen. Honestly, it felt like a loss and I'm being brutally honest here, and I hope you don't play like that every game. Yeah. But you were so poor, and so was us. It was just one of those games. If you're neutral and you've paid for the stream and you're wanting to watch that, you're just like, what have I wasted my money on here?
Yeah,
it's time you'll never ever get back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Could have sat at home nice and warm. Instead, I went out in the -3 or whatever degrees it was.
Your finishing, Luke, was terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just as well because we were awful on the night.
I mean, we were saying before we came on air that, I think you said about a year and a half, Mickey, didn't you, for games that you've seen, that was the worst one. For me, I would say it's probably 4 or 5 years that I've seen one that bad. Yeah. But, I always try to put a positive spin on it, but at least that's not too bad. A really stinker in 5 years. But, I'll take them odds. But, yeah, no, it was hard going. It was one of them games where it just lacked quality all over the park, really, at times, didn't it?
Yeah, that's all I can really say. Just such a poor quality game. Gates said, they seemed quite a similar setup side to us, kept a lot of the ball, but didn't really do anything with it. I think it was quite even, wasn't it? The stats on possession side of things. I will just say though, Gates said, as a club, though, very welcoming. I thought it was great that you put us in that stand as well to keep us all warm and something that you need as well. And like I've said,
you weren't warm.
Yeah, no, we weren't warm at all, but we were probably better than what we were isolated at the other side. But the stewards, everything were great. But no, I have to say, I don't want Gateshead to go down, but I don't want Dorking to go down. So I'm like torn between at the moment.
It's goodbye Yeovil then, isn't it?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Goodbye Yeovil then.
Yeah, we'll have Yeovil. I won't be too spot.
Yeah, Yeovil's far too far away from Halifax and Gateshead. So Yeovil.
Look, are you looking forward to Saturday? Quarterfinals?
With the FA Trophy?
Aye.
I'm more nervous, to be honest, than...
What do you think? How do you think it'll go for you?
I said on my podcast, I said Aldershot, I think they're going to win. As a non-biased perspective, I think they'll win on penalties. I think our luck will run out on Saturday against Aldershot. I think it'll come down, when I look at this trophy, it'll come down to who wants it more. Because, you look at Gateshead, they're playing Farsley. Farsley going to go into that game, and they're like the underdogs, aren't they? So there's that fairy tale about them getting into that. You'll, of course, be wanting to get through because it's a massive game for you to have something, to end your season on a positive and hopefully stay up. Did want to ask, though, I was talking about this on my pod earlier today. Do you see it as a bit of a distraction for you? Because I know we had a few Gateshead fans that tuned in earlier, and they were saying that I'd rather stay up than go far in the FA Trophy.
For me, I'd definitely rather stay up, but if we can win and carry that momentum into the league, I can't see it being a bad thing. It's I'm not going to say a training game, but at least they can try something new in this game where it isn't going to affect us in the league. Lads, I'll let you have your perspective.
After Tuesday night, I said that obviously you're a young innocent lad, so I won't see what I said to the lads. I could tell them where they could ram the FA Trophy. I've calmed down since then. Yeah.
Listen,
I want to win it.
Yeah, win on Saturday. But a win breeds positivity, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So, because if we lose on Saturday, morale will just go completely, especially after recent performances. But Halifax should be all right, shouldn't they? Should be, not going to get dragged into the relegation dogfight.
No, I think we'll be fine. To be honest, I was just disappointed. 180 minutes without seeing a single goal from either side. After that, but no, I think we'll be fine. I think Gates said the story of their season is they're good football inside. They can play football, but they don't take the chances, and then they're very leaky at the back as well. And you had that spell where you found like a slight proven goal scorer in Danny Elliott, who was starting to get on the score sheet, and that was what you're missing. Maybe a replacement for Langstaff and Sedwin Scott, who left earlier and left at the start of the season.
Ooh, it
feels like obviously you've gone and lost him now, and you're back to square one, aren't you, again? And it's just about grinding out results without really anything going forward.
You've summed it up nicely, Look, you've summed it up nicely.
We've got a message for you. What do you think about Jack Hunter?
It's an interesting one, that, because we were talking about it on Tuesday night, and we were, I think when he first signed for the club, we were thinking, Gateshead let him go. He must be one of the best players at Gateshead then. And I know a lot of Gateshead fans were saying, no, midfield's just that good. He couldn't get in. I don't know if that's correct or not.
Well, it was. I think
it was.
But I know like Greg Ollie and players like that are really strong for you. But I know a few Gateshead fans were torn between what they were saying about him. But he feels like a bit of a number. He's never... He'll do a job for you in the squad, but he won't go above and beyond. He don't really give you anything going forward. He's just a squad player that if there's any injuries, you can bring him in. But for me, he's that sort of player. I think if we were doing extremely well in the league, you'd be saying, yeah, he's a good player, if he was a handy player. But because we're not, and he's just bang average at the moment for us, and he's not showing anything out of the ordinary, he just looks like a squad player. But hopefully, if he does stay next season and we're a bit stronger, he'll do a little bit better for us. But I think, was that the case at Gateshead for him? Was he just a bit of a squad player? Didn't really bring anything different.
I think he was a victim of being very versatile, because he would either play in midfield or just in front of the back four, like deeper in midfield or in defence, and he never held down one position for a run of games. Sadly for him, he was always the good player at filling in the gap that needed filling, which I think went against him. Whereas if he had got a run in midfield, maybe he could have got a bit more established. But that was always the case for him, I think, in both stints at the club. Well, of course, he was a bit younger in his first stint, but yeah, I think, I think he's a victim of his versatility, a bit like Carl Magny in his first stint.
He played at wing back, I know, and for a few games, and I actually quite liked him there. I thought he did a job there. But in midfield, it's just that strong in this division this season. And if you're not a player that can play forward, you're not really going to offer anything. And it's like Tuesday, it got highlighted. I had a bit of a rant, because every time I lose, I always seem to do after the game, because it frustrates the hell out of me. We're like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because we played so well at Dorking. Went into that game a lot with the same result. We played awful going forward. Defensively, I thought we did our job. We didn't concede, but it was a game. We had Summerfield warming up down near us and Warburton, and they're probably the 2 strongest players at the club, and Spence, who's also injured. And that's been the story of our season, them being injured. And we're thinking, right, they played at Dorking, they came off the bench at Dorking, and we're thinking, why don't he get them on? He didn't get either of them on. And they were warming up down there. We're thinking, 65 minutes coming. It's time to get him on. 75 had gone. Time to get him on. 85. You're thinking, for God's sake, he's not going to do anything in 5 minutes. And he didn't bring him on, because Gateshead's pitch is so big, isn't it? If you've got a good ball playing player like Summerfield, and then someone like Warburton who just has that bit of quality going forward, they're going to do a lot. And players like Hunter and Gilmore, I don't think offer enough. They're good squad players, but they're not going to drive you forward, in my opinion. And that's the only thing I'd say on that. Yeah.
We've got a few messages coming in. Obviously, I put one up there before. Cow Daly's put, I honestly don't care about the FA Trophy at all. Staying up. It wouldn't, if we stay up and get to Wembley, that would be something else. Someone put a comment there before. I can't find it, but God forbid if we get each other in the semi-finals, if we're both fortunate enough to get through. I mean, can we just decide it on tiddlywinks or something? Or, I mean,
I'm sick of the Shane watching us getting beat. I've done it ever since the cup tie. After that, I've never seen we win ever since.
Yeah. So have we beaten Halifax Town this century? That's what I'd like to know.
It's 14 games we have not beaten.
Yeah, the last game we won, I believe, is the win before Luke was of 99-2000 season, where Tony Hall and Dalton scored the goals at the Shea.
So based on that, Luke wants to play Gateshead in the semi-finals.
Yeah,
I don't know though, because it's like I'm being brutally honest here, and I don't know what you. I would love to ask you a bit about that, but with the stadium, I think the concourse is nice, etc., and stuff like that. But of course, it's. I think I put a tweet out saying it's not real. Don't feel like a football stadium, and I think it must be something to do with the Olympics or what do you call it, games or something. Commonwealth Games. I thought it'd be something to do with that, why it was built, and Gateshead just used it there to play. Yeah. But in a away game, then I'm not being disrespectful whatsoever towards Gateshead. But if we were, let's say, bringing, because it's the semi-final, we'd probably bring 1,000. We'd probably bring, because it was the semi-final.
Yeah, the other side.
Feel like a proper final, because obviously usually the away fans are spread out so far. We're quite fortunate with that. Gateshead, there'd be a big crowd there from Gateshead. Don't get me wrong. I'd believe probably the standard would be packed where it usually is, but it just wouldn't feel like a proper derby. not as in a proper semi-final where it's a massive game for both clubs. At the Shea, it'd be a different story. You know, you'd bring a fair few, I'd expect. You'd probably be in the Skirkett stand, which would be something different for you. But I don't know. It's just, I just wouldn't want to face you because of that. I know I said we're a nice visiting, Gateshead, but I wouldn't want to come back again because it's so cold and it's the ground. I don't know. What are your opinions on the ground? Would you ever want to leave and go to somewhere else where
I'd love to, but it's home from home for me. I've never known anything different. I've been going since '86. Yeah,
I would love to go. I would love to get out of there and go to a proper football stadium. You know, Gateshead's own stadium, football. But it's money, isn't it? These new stadiums cost millions, don't they? You know, it's a pipe dream almost.
Club. Where are we going to get the money for a new stadium?
Well, that's it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So look, yes, we'd love to go, and for my opinion, but no, we won't be able to afford it.
Yeah, I know. I think ours are similar with the Shea because the Shea is probably too big for us. You know, we might have once upon a time. I think Charlie, we had in the playoffs once where they were 8,000 there, but you're only going to have that once every blue moon, aren't you? Where maybe a big FA Cup game. I think we had Bradford once, or you know, the playoffs maybe. But you know, we're averaging like this season. It's been quite poor because of our standard, but we're averaging 1,800 a game. You know, and the stadium holds 14,000. So if we were getting Wrexham's attendances and getting 8,000-9,000, it'd be quality. But I'm not saying it's a bad atmosphere. It's still a good atmosphere. Yeah. It's still a nice ground, but you always get fans coming saying, "Oh, it looks empty, the Shea," and it's like, well, do you not expect that? We've got used to it now.
Never seen. We'll get a good crowd. Like when we played Chesterfield, there was 1,700 there. There was a big away following, of course, but there was still more on the home end. But you know, when there is a good crowd in and it's a decent game, you do forget about the surroundings. It can't rock that stand once if everyone's into it and the game's good. But I can understand away fans, because when we go to away games and you stand right next to the pitch, it's something unique sometimes, isn't it? Especially if you've been away game in a while. So I completely understand all of that. It's one of them things, and it's what we used to see as live.
I know, like with Halifax this season, because it has been, you know, not the same last season because we did so well, and it's the same with every club. If Gateshead were doing, let's say, 4th in the National League, you'd be bouncing every game. Fair play to your supporters, though, on Tuesday, you know, putting the effort in with the flags, etc. I thought that were good stuff from yourselves. But let's say you were, you know, top high up in the league, it'd be a good atmosphere every game, and that was what it was for us. So every game you'd be thinking, I can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be a Tuesday night games. It's always bouncing on Tuesday night games, and this season it's just been a bit dry. Like, I don't really want to go to the Shea. So, you know, when you go away from the Shea and you go to somewhere like Dorking or even Gateshead, you know, it's something different. Your loyal supporters go, not the ones who moan all the time. It's always the loyal supporters who get behind the team. So for me this season, it's definitely been better to get away from the Shea than probably be at home games. And I'm sure that probably be to a certain extent the same for Gateshead.
We've got a question for you from Boiler Sports. They've put, Luke, who was your right back who took an age to take a throw in by pulling up his socks at the goal?
That was our centre half actually with Jesse Deborah. I know he's a really good player. He was with us last season and he was rumoured to join Huddersfield and he didn't, but he's a really good player. And that's been something quite new recently, him doing the long throws. I think he's took inspiration from Ben Tozer or something like that.
Same with us, Greg Ollie. He's only just started doing in the last 4 or 5 games. So, both captains.
Greg Ollie's been on the shredded wheat like, hasn't he?
He has. He's been working in the gym, I think, to do that. But this is the only thing I've enjoyed since watching. The only thing I enjoyed watching at the Shea was Newcastle Diamonds versus Halifax Speedway in the 70s.
You see the Shea back then, and then you'll say, was it too big for us? When I've seen images.
Wow! Oh God, I have to just kick my desk there. I've still got another one. Yeah. Do you think there'll be a bigger attendance than usual on Saturday? I think there might be a few put off by the weather, possibly. I mean, you never know. You would think Farsley would probably bring up more than what they would for a league game. Obviously, it's they're doing very well in the competition.
About 20 minutes away from me is Farsley. It's it's not far. Probably closer to me than the Shea is.
Well, you can come back. Just jump on the bus, Luke. We look after you.
And I ground and iconic. Never seen us win there before. Yeah, Luke's never seen him lose against us there.
I remember this stage at FA Trophy, 2016, and we knocked Gateshead out on penalties. I remember that game.
I remember it well, you little.
Yeah.
Brown scored and ran into away end.
I'm sure Neil Aspin forgot what team he was managing in that game.
Pardon?
I'm sure Neil Aspin forgot what team he was managing in that game. So it can't be any more than last year. There's 7 Farsley fans that come up. I think there might be 1 or 2 more than that. Be 9 or 10, but I'm not going to mock them because
the business teacher's a Farsley. Well, he's a Leeds fan and a Farsley fan, so I don't know if he'll be going up or not.
Yeah. Well, I say I respect to any fans that made the trip. We've all been there when there hasn't been many of us, so I'm not going to mock any fans that come up in low numbers. But Luke, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers for having me on at short notice again. Great to speak to you.
Yeah, great to speak to you. Lovely to have you on.
Nice to see you again, you little git.
And I hope we're talking to you next season after 2 more defeats to yours.
I hate how he comes on. He's fresh faced. He's cocky because we're kind of be his team, a little git.
No, I want Gates to stay up. To be fair, we'll have to get yourself on the podcast at some point as well. Hopefully, we'll survive and we can do it at some point.
But look, just wait till you're 27. You've got the realization that every football team's awful unless it's like a team at the top level.
What'll happen to Wrexham when this money runs out at some point? We won't be around forever, will they?
Before you go, Luke, what about the referee?
Yeah. Oh, don't start me on that. Because we didn't like him. I don't know. Did you dislike him?
No.
I was talking to some of your fans outside, and I says that referee gave some very strange decisions both ways.
Yeah.
What he were doing though, what I noticed was he was not letting anything go for either side. That is, whatever. It would just sorry about that, but
I'm not a size queen. That was a bit of a show off, wasn't it?
Any referee, but it was just not letting anything go, and it was proper modern football, what you'd expect, where it's just every playing for fouls, etc. And every chance we had when we had the next set piece, we didn't take our chances. But that ref was dreadful. Not letting anything go at all. I'm sure he's giving a lot of penalties away.
His linesman on the stand side was just as bad because he was looking at him for the decisions. I'm thinking, make your own bloody mind up. You're only 10 yards away from it.
Let's just bury that game and never. I mean, I think I said in commentary, we'll not be talking about this. It wasn't a classic. We'll not be talking about this in 35 years' time. Going, remember when we were there for Halifax 0-0? Oh, what a talker! It certainly wasn't. But on the plus side, we had our friend on. Luke, thank you very much for coming.
Cheers for having us on, lads. Away the lads, or as you like to say up north.
Okay.
Nice one.
God forbid, he's gone. I was going to say, God forbid, we'll get him in the semi-finals.
He must be due to go to bed. It's after 9.
Yeah.
He was good. He's a lot of enthusiasm. Good lad.
He is quality.
Yeah,
he's such a young lad. He's got a bright future, and that kid.
He's got lots of knowledge there as well.
But there was only one supporter at the game. Fair play to that fan. Must be the lowest away attendance I've ever known. I went to Southport, and I think there was only 3 over there. And I think I was the only one behind the goal. John Young and I think his dad were in the stand because John had an operation on his foot. I remember.
Burridge was in goal for Gates that night.
Who was in goal that night?
John Burridge.
Not that night. Not that night I went. It was when we had Hamilton up front on loan from Carlisle. What's his name?
Normally you get like a few expats and stuff, so to have 3 away, God, that's crippling.
And it was freezing, and I think it was 2-1 or 1-0 down with like 30 seconds to go, and was scored.
Right.
And it was the coldest night ever. And even the referee was like, like to say, I can't even disallow it. It was tough. It was very similar to the game that we had on Tuesday night. It was just poor. and then it went all the way through, and then they scored in the last minute of extra time. It was just like, right, let's just get on the bus and go.
Right, we're talking FA Trophy memories here. Davy Steele, you were at Gretna.
It was, God, how cold was that? Whoa.
It was that cold. Gretna sold out of scarves, socks, woolly hats because we were buying them all.
And it went to extra time as well, didn't it?
Yeah, sure, and their centre forward when it was in goal forward.
Oh, I
can't remember who it was anyway. We went round him, had an open goal and fired out with the bar, and we were slagging them off because it was golden goal. 120th minute, we got a penalty.
Can you remember in '97? I think it was the Spalding Cup.
Yes.
Freezing cold game. It was chucking down with snow, and that Morecambe. It went extra time.
Right. Was that the Bob Lord Trophy? Was that its like reincarnation?
It was just absolutely that was a cold one. That one, and John Young had an John Young had an operation at that time as well, and his toes were poking out his plaster with no sock.
I tell you what, the Notts County away game this year, that game was blooming freezing.
Love the 8 start for the Heed Army podcast. It's doing all right. Thank you to everyone that's messaged in. We've went a little bit over, but it's been enjoyable. It gets cold. I'm sure Davey can warm up with some puffins and coats and stuff. Yeah, there we go. That's the new line of Heed Army merchandise next year.
He shouldn't be cold. He should be acclimatized, though, shouldn't he?
No, you're talking about when it gets cold. If it gets cold, not where he is. I don't know. You'd be able to tell us how cold it is out there
No, I'm just the soft management. So I just stay inside in the office and just let the minions go and do the work. I don't. That's all good. Do everything. Crikey Moses. Great. I can tell you some horror stories about unblocking toilets and everything else. Public toilets, that is.
So
oh my God.
When have you got Spring Watch coming up again?
Late April. They're coming in. Want to do it?
I have to set you a challenge. Like you're gonna have to, have some. Well, you're gonna have to have like a Heed Army your hat on or something.
Someday,
the hat. Something. But we're gonna have to get some words slipped into it.
They want to do a day in the life of. They want to follow us around for a few days. So
make sure when they're there, make sure you do a podcast.
Do a podcast.
Doing the podcast.
This is part of my life.
Like the goodies wandering about now.
When the camera's not looking, right? Like half knacker puffin, bring it onto the podcast and like save it on the show.
I reckon the seabirds are running around the island when Spring Watch is on.
In April, I'll do one of them live from the middle of the island, like with the puffins. I'll do. It'd be an interesting background. Yeah,
It will. See, we'll transition into nature and naturism. We'll all be naked. On that note, we'll
help out on that trip.
Did you ever see
the viewing figures might dip?
Did you ever see Did you ever see the podcast that me and Mickey did in the back garden, and everyone was worried in case something fell out of Mickey's shorts?
Oh my goodness gracious! No, never show photographs of that neither.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Was it a camel's hoof?
The puffins have probably run more than Addy used to. Harsh. Well, on that note, everybody, we're going to say a big thank you. Lads, thanks for coming on again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you to Luke as well for coming on. He was,
thanks, Luke.
Coming on at the end there. And they will find Davey wandering around in his hat. Nothing else, just the hat. Right. On that note, everybody, we'll see you next week. And hopefully we're talking about FA Trophy semi-finals. But who knows? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's a tough game.
Good luck to all the lads on Saturday.
Good luck, lads.
Can play better than you did on Tuesday, so good luck, lads.
Get your heads up.
We'll get into it. Right, then on that note, see you later, everybody. Bye.
Good night, everybody.